Welcome to Talkin Baseball, where the wild card races are about as wild as they can get. That works. What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Talkin Baseball. My name is John Boy. I'm coming to you from New Jersey, and I've got my best friend Jake. He's back in Denver. We were in the same room last time. We are not in the same room. We're talking to each other through a computer screen. The magic of technology. Baseball, Jake, is winding down. We are so close to the finish line. And there's still a lot of fun questions to be answered. We've been doing this twice a week, trying to figure out how we think this thing's going to finish. And we kind of got the mayhem we wanted this week coming into today. I'm excited. How are you?
I'm doing well, James. Yeah, man. It's out there, and it's. I mean, we've seen this forming for a little bit now. I think the biggest thing is still that one really good team is not going to make the playoffs, and it's crazy the ripple effect that can have, going down the line. I mean, obviously not having a chance this year, but if it's the Cubs in the National League, I mean, that would mean the end of Joe Madden. It's kind of been adding up that way anyways. But it's, I'm just looking at the standings right now, and yeah, I'm giddy. I mean, Tampa and Cleveland are tied. Right now, the Cubbies are out. Milwaukee, they are fighting the good fight. So, yeah, man, it's good. And I think a little behind the scenes is I think you and I are stoked as natural Yankee fans to not be in the wild card discussion for the first time in a few years. Because that sucks.
I got excited this morning because I got the windows open and fall broke once already. And then it was a fake out, and then summer came back. I'm hoping this is the real deal. I mean, we're September 20th now. We're close to October. The Yankees clinched. You and I are Yankees fans. We got excited about that. It just feels like, okay, time to move on. We're very close. Now, some teams aren't there yet, so I'm excited that we are, and we get to sit back and relax a little bit. And other teams I get to as well. The Braves have clinched a postseason spot. The Astros have clinched a postseason spot. The Nationals have clinched the wild card spot, correct?
Let me double check. The Dodgers, I don't think they technically have. No, they're only one game up on Milwaukee.
Wait, so who else has clinched then?
So the Dodgers have clinched the West. Atlanta has clinched the East, I believe. They got the X next. Yeah, or they've clinched a playoff berth. I think they're they've basically clinched the division. And then Houston and the Yankees.
Houston and the Yankees. Crazy. And the Twins haven't clinched yet?
Twins have not technically clinched. They are 4 games up on Cleveland. And I'm surprised they haven't technically clinched the wild card spot, but I guess the wild card's so tight that no.
Cool. Interesting. All right. Well, let's take care of some business before we really dive into all this. This episode of Talkin Baseball is brought to you by 5 wonderful people. Amy Smith, most recent Patreon sponsor, supporter, Amy Smith. Nick Licati.
Gotti.
Philly. Jeff Hinkle.
Sure.
I got him as a first baseman.
Yeah, Hinkle. I think when he's coming into the draft, you're a team, you have to decide. Do you want to put him on the bump or are you going to keep him at first?
No, I got him as a Vogelback type.
Oh, I'm more Ike Davis.
Oh, okay. Little Nacho 12. I don't know a position. You got a position?
That feels like an unknown family member.
Because you're a Nacho?
Little, Nacho, it's a lot of my identifying terms.
It is. Jake, are you still going to get drunk for the wild card games?
Oh, yeah. I saw a few people celebrating the Yankees clinching the East yesterday, and I was like, do I have a drink? We had to record Talking Yanks, but do I even snag a beer? And I was like, no, because it was travel day, and it was like 5 days on the East Coast eating out and all that stuff. And then I reassured myself. I was like, yes, I still owe myself the wild card. So probably not both games because that's Papi Gordo's body can't do that anymore. But definitely one of them.
The first wild card game is October 2nd.
I believe so. There should be one Tuesday, not Monday. One Tuesday, one Wednesday? Question mark.
I believe it's the second and the third, or it's the first and the second.
Okay. Make one of the teams play the next day. That's right.
Which one's the first wild card game that we're gonna get? Which one do you want to get first?
Ooh, interesting. Well, the NL plays first. I don't know if that's a factor in this question.
Well, I was asking the question. That's the answer.
Yes.
The NL. I'm more excited for the AL one.
I think it depends on the NL, right? Jim, actually, this is I think you just kind of threw this out there as a shrug but this is a very serious conversation because it's where's the game being played?
For the NL, it's most likely Washington.
Right. So we've got that for the NL, but the AL is very much up in the air. And I know if it's Tampa, your choice isn't the AL anymore, I don't think.
I got Tampa. Indians are coming for him.
Right. I know you'd have that. But currently, they are tied 90 and 63 up.
Do you want a play-in game? Do you want a like a play-in game for the wild card? Is that too much mayhem for you? Like if the Indians and the Rays have to play a one-game play-in to see who can play the wild card, and this happened before. Are you rooting for that, or would you rather just have a clean break, like a good finish, clean ending? I think I'm rather the just clean ending for some reason. I don't know why.
As a baseball fan, I would root for that. That would get me excited. Yeah, the one-game playoff. And most people would assume it's the Red Sox. I'm pretty grown up in Connecticut, very cordial with a lot of fan bases. Jim, I wouldn't wish the one-game playoff wild card game on my enemy. I mean, that is hell. That is hell.
It's not fun.
Your season can go down the sink basically with one bad pitch for 18 innings.
I feel bad for the Nats.
So I guess it's Nationals. I mean, they're going to be hosting it. They actually, Jim, we say that casually. They're one game up. The Nationals are not a lock to host that game.
Yeah, they're going to be hosting it.
We thought that for a long time, and now they are back to earth. They are 2 up in the loss column. I know you're big on that.
All that matters.
And you can assume that. Man, Milwaukee is fighting with everything they've got. The Cubs are fun.
Cubs and Cardinals have 7. Well, let's get into some reports so we can get into this more.
Okay.
Let people know. We got to let them know who's in the standings and all that stuff.
That's true.
And the National League report is brought to you by our friends over at Roosevelt Shirts. Jake's got 3 in his possession now. I've got 3 in my possession. Intern Luke has some. They're fun. They fit nice. If you sweat a lot, Jake and I wore them. We walked across New York City. I was sweating my butt off in my Roosevelt shirt, but it was nice. Like it wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like how cotton catches the sweat and then you're doomed for the rest of the day. It's much better than that. They're fun. We were wearing them. We looked sharp. We looked snazzy. You can get them at rsvlts.com/JohnBoy. If you go there, they've curated a whole batch of baseball shirts. We have the major league ones, which I think may see the light of day. We may match them at spring training.
There's always a chance, Jim.
Always a chance. So go to roosevelts.com, rsvlts.com/JohnBoy. Use discount code JohnBoy to get 20% off. That's a cool discount code. It helps a lot. So go do that and tell our friends at Roosevelt's. Thank you, and let's go to the boogie. All right, now for your series that don't matter. The Giants took 2 of 3 from the Red Sox. One of the games went 15 innings and saw 24 different pitchers stand atop the mound. The Red Sox were done in by a wild pitch and a sac fly in the 15th. The Diamondbacks beat the Marlins in the bookend games of a 3-game set. Okay, cool. Moving on to the series that holds some implications. The Phillies took 2 of 3 from the Braves. Good for the Phils, but it probably means very little as they are 4 games back in the wild card with 2 teams ahead of them. The Brewers hosted the San Diego Padres and won 3 out of 4 games. The Brewers are now 12-2 in their last 14 games. They just keep winning since Yelich went down, and it's a team effort. Kane with 2 home runs. Rookie Trent Grisham got involved. The starters and the bullpen days, it's really like they are throwing the entire team at their opponents right now to keep the magic alive without Yelich. The Cardinals squared off with the Nationals in St. Louis. The Cards won 2 of 3. And in the rubber match, Adam Wainwright outdueled Max Scherzer. Kind of interesting. The Cubs lost the series to the Reds. Classic Cubs. I'm kind of getting sick of them. They got shut down by Sonny Gray. Aristides popped Hu Darvish for his 16th homer in 47 games. And in the rubber match, rookie James Norwood blew it for the Cubs in the 10th inning. The Mets lost the first game to the Rockies, but won the next 2 to take the series. Stroman had a really nice start. Pete Alonso hit home runs number 48 and 49 on the year, but the Mets are 3.5 games back, 2 back in the loss column with 2 teams ahead of them. Nationals have a 1-game lead in the wildcard races. Brewers, then Cubs, then Mets, then Phillies. It's getting sloppy. In the NL Central, the Cardinals are 3 games up on the Brewers, I believe, and 4 games up on the Cubs. The Cubs and the Cardinals have 7 games against each other left. There's like 10 games left in the season. So, we will see. It'll get interesting. The Central, I think, is still interesting. The wild card is very interesting. I do think the Mets and Phillies are out of it.
Yeah, it's tough to picture a world where Milwaukee, the Cubs, or the Nationals drop so much that the Mets getting hot enough to find themselves in it. It just doesn't seem realistic. Hey, prove us wrong, Amazins, but that's seems what is dead may never die. Jim, you're out on your Cubbies? Last up, you were giving me the whole. They got 7 against St. Louis. They're right where they want to be. Now you got them DED dead?
No, they're not dead. They're not dead at all. They can still do a lot of damage versus the Cardinals. But I don't have them doing anything in the postseason because they can't they have no consistency.
Yeah.
They'll lose a series to the Reds? Like, come on.
At home and 31-44 on the year now on the road. And, Jim, we do have sometimes we can jump into the future on this show. They did lose the first game last night to St. Louis. Kimbrel gave it up. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, again, like you said, they've got the games there if they can find the right button to press. I'm starting to really enjoy St. Louis. I mean, Jack Flaherty has continued to be at it. You're going to hear about Adam Wainwright later. So I'm coming to enjoy the Cardinals. I'd like to see them do some playoff baseball. The Cubbies, man, you're right. I think I don't know though. 1-game playoff with Joe Madden pretending to coach for his job, that gets fun.
You think he's coaching for his job?
There's been weird rumors around that all year that Joe Madden's kind of run his course. Thing. It's not a shot at Joe Madden. A lot of managers, your voice can get old in the clubhouse after a few years. And I don't know. The energy's kind of been down in Chicago. This was supposed to be not a Cubs dynasty, but I mean a team that's supposed to compete every year and be a threat for the World Series. And since they've won, they kind of haven't been.
Yeah. Well, Yeah, they had the series the year before they won. They took the Mets to the NLCS, and then they win. And then what? I don't know what happened the next years, but Dodgers got them. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Madden's also expensive, and that is not the way managing is going. It's going like, hey, why don't we just get a young guy to do this cheap? And Madden's expensive. I have no idea if he's coaching for his job, if they're going to bring it back, whatnot. I do know that Schwarber's been going off for the Cubs.
Yeah. Yeah. We had and it's totally Schwarber's having a very 2019 season. I think he's going to sneak up on 40. Yeah, he's got 37 homers, 239 batting average, 329 on base, but an 849 OPS. So he's yeah, I think it's a little bit good player, a little bit juice ball. Because Jim, if you actually look, is a lot of his numbers from last year look pretty similar, except the gopher balls are up 11 right now, which I don't know, a little juice in the ball for a big guy like that, it adds up.
Yeah, the OVP is way down from last year.
And them homers.
OBP. I said it right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. But he's going off. He's got like a double, a triple, and 2 home runs his last couple games.
Like that.
But I don't know what's going on with the Cubbies. I'm getting sick of them. I'd rather them just be good. I'm sure Cubs fans are getting like,
Yeah,
what the hell's going on?
I was gonna say Cubs fans are 1,000% with you, man. They too would like to be just really good. So
Let's see, who do they got coming up? They had in these Cardinals series. The next game is Waka versus Mills, Dakota Hudson versus Quintana, who you have on Slump Watch, and then Miles Michaelis versus Yu Darvish.
guy. Yeah, and Jim, just doing quick Cubs history because you and I blanked for a second there. Jim, they lost in the wild card game last year to the Rockies. I think that was the one game, or no, the Rockies advanced. That's right. And then the year before that, they lost in the championship series to the Dodgers 4-1. So they got beat 4-1 by the Dodgers in 2017, and then they've lost in the wild card game last year. So I think again, not exactly the competing for titles every year that I think Cubs fans were expecting.
Rizzo came back, hit a home run. That was exciting for them, I think.
Yeah, that was cool. He one of the worst ankle rolls you'll see on a baseball field. It was, I mean, looked like a basketball one, but on turf you don't see that a lot. And then he hits the homer. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and Castellanos is still doing his thing. Bryant's still doing his thing. I mean, Zobrist is doing well in the last couple games, last week or so. I don't know what's going on with them. Whatever. Bullpen, I guess.
I think it's just it's tough, Jim, because we've kind of been low key rooting for the Nats because I mean if their pitching can turn on for the playoffs, like holy crap, they can be there at the end if they want to be. The Brewers went from kind of fluky, get out of my face to now it's like bring the noise. Whoever's doing it for the Brewers, I'm interested. Jordan Lyles, Bronny, sure.
I know, man. I was looking at like who's been doing stuff for them. Corey Spangenberg.
Oh yeah,
had some key hits. Corey, is that how you say it? Spangenberg? I don't know how else you'd say it.
Yeah,
Trent.
I think that's the only way you can say that.
Trent Grisham, his stats are not good in the last couple of days, but he had some like of his 4 hits in the last week. I think they helped. They were like clutch. He had 2 RBIs in this series on 1 hit.
He had a little league home run the other day too. That's fun. Jim, I think the dirty little secret, and I did see this stat on ESPN, so I'm gonna half butcher it and half not give them credit. But Jim, I think since Yelich has gotten hurt, they have the worst or the 3rd worst batting average in baseball. But their opponent's batting average is the worst, or technically the best for them. So the dirty little secret is the Brewers are pitching, and that's how you win baseball games.
Yeah, I think Hauser had another good start. Not really, dude. Hauser's they don't like. They're still, last year the Brewers were like, we don't have starting pitchers, we just have throwers. They still kind of operate like that, or they're starting to again. Like
Yeah.
Hauser went in his last 4 starts, he hasn't finished the fifth inning. He barely
Yeah.
even got to the fifth inning. Then Zach Davies is the other guy that's doing stuff for them. Jordan Lyle's been pretty good for them since the trade.
Lyles has been good. You're going to
But
hear
like,
about him later.
but look at Zach Davies, man. 5 innings pitched, 4 innings pitched, 4.25, 4.15. Like it's not even like an ask. It seems like.
Yeah, it looks like, and Brandon Woodruff is back, I believe. I know he was out for a while. I mean, Gio Gonzalez is having a quirky, solid years. It's they've been in playoff mode for a little bit. It's day by day. How are we getting the next couple batters out? And it's working. They're winning ball games.
They're winning ball games. Drew Pomeranz coming out of the bullpen for him. It's an all hands on deck. Keston here had a home run. Lorenzo Cain had 2, like I said, which is kind of fun actually. I don't think it makes for anything substantial come wild card playoffs if they do get in. Like I don't think they're primed to make a run, but they're having fun.
And hey, you mentioned Drew Pomeranz casually, Jim. 22 innings. He's been coming out of the bullpen for them. 38 strikeouts. Drew Pomeranz, a guy who's been getting knocked around for the past couple of years. He might have made himself some good money as a reliever in free agency this year.
Well, so he came over there, right? And they put him in as reliever. And the first 2 times he like got the hold or got an out, but it really wasn't great. In his last 16 games as a reliever for them, he has only allowed a run in one of them, or only allowed an earned run in one of them.
Yeah.
So 15 out of his last 16 appearances without a run. So that's Drew Pomeranz, who they traded for from the Giants. And Jordan Lyles, who they traded for, is also doing well. So they got that's good for them.
Yeah, I mean, with not Lyles and Drew Pomeranz, who they got at the deadline. How about that?
The Mets, they lose the first game to your Rockies, but they win the next 2. But I mean, we kind of said like, I don't see them overcoming. I think the Brewers are kind of in a good spot with the Cubs and Cardinals beating each other up, or the Cardinals just slaughtering the Cubs. Those are the options. Either they split the 7 games, or the Cardinals destroy the Cubs and win like 6 of them. And if that happens, that helps the Brewers. If they beat each other up, that helps the Brewers. I don't think there's a bad outcome for the Brewers with the way the schedule's lined up. I mean, the Brewers have to win.
Exactly. It would that would be the if this Brewers house of cards starts to come apart. So if you're a Mets fan, you need the Brewers house of cards to fall apart, and you want St. Louis to just dominate the Cubbies, which, hey, the Cubbies could kind of be hanging on by a thread. I mean, they can turn it around today, but again, we do know they lost game 1 to St. Louis. So the Cubbies have currently lost 3 straight. They're out of the playoff picture. They could turn it around instantly, but they could also let the wheels fall off this thing and then get hot, Mets.
The Brewers
49th? Did I see that?
Yeah, 49th for Alonso. The Brewers play Pittsburgh, then Cincinnati, then Colorado. All right, versus Pittsburgh this year, they're 12-4, and versus Cincinnati, they're 8-8. So maybe those games will be harder.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Yeah,
they're so bad.
It sucks because I kind of liked Pittsburgh like maybe 5-6 years ago. I was kind of excited about them.
I think they might be the team in history that got screwed by the new wild card format the most, because it just felt like they were in that 1-game playoff every year and they'd lose.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Cueto on the mound. Remember that one?
McCutchen, yeah.
Bummer. You want to go to the AL? Do you have anything? We have a question in the chat from Kyle Davis.
Okay.
Do you think the Phillies at Braves series shows they might not do well in the playoffs?
No, I mean, I think we just said the Braves are one of 4 teams in baseball that have clinched a playoff spot, which means they're handling the rest of their season differently. Um, the fight in Phils were probably, they're half a game behind the Mets, who we just gave a little bit of attention to. No, I mean the Braves. Feels like the first time in 2 months I've said they've lost the series. That's probably not factually accurate, but their goals have now changed. It's getting Acuna to 40-40 and just getting everyone healthy and lined up for the playoffs.
Yeah. What was that? Keuchel didn't do good. Tehran didn't do great. The bullpen did good. Yeah, I don't think so.
I mean, there was that, what was it, a week and a half ago, where it was like, yo, can the Braves catch the Dodgers? It feels like that's gone now, and there's no middler tier. Like, there's no one on Atlanta's butt anymore, and the Dodgers are out of reach. So Atlanta's just in cruise control, get healthy, get lined up.
Yeah. Young, thick Austin Riley with 3 games in a row with a hit and pinch hit, double, pinch hit, and then a home run. So young, thick Austin Riley coming back, Jake.
Love that.
All right, let's move on to the American League. Get the boogie going. You tell us what happened. Sounds good?
I can try, Jim. Jimmy, in the American League, the New York Yankees take 2 out of 3 from the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. They clinch the AL for the first time since 2012. They have the returns of Luis Severino, their ace, and Carlos Stanton, former NL MVP. Also, a good chance they lose Domingo Germán for the rest of the season. Bad stuff there. We'll see what we hear about that. A real mixed bag in NYC. Jim, we know because we were there. The Rays split 2 with the Dodgers. If you want to see a box score filled with pitchers, check that out. Jim, you buried it in the National League. How about Yaz? New young Yaz in Boston. That was fun. Anyways, the baby Jays take out the broomsticks against the Orioles. Jim loves that. Big weekend for Kevin Biggio. Always doing it, Biggio, in the land of 10,000 lakes in the Central. The Minnesota set against the Chicago White Sox, including a wild extra inning game where they each scored in the 11th. Then the White Sox scored 2 in the 12th, but the Twins fight back. Ronald Torreyes walk-off hit by pitch. 3 runs in the bottom of the 12th. Holy smokes. The Cleveland Indians, they sweep the Tigers. So, yeah, you did your job. 3 runs in 3 games for the Tigers. A classic case of good pitching versus a bad team. That's what'll happen. And the Kansas City Royals, they take game 1 from Oakland and put up a hell of a fight. Not what the A's were expecting. A's win a pair of 1-run games to take the series. That must have been brutal watch for Oakland fans. Oakland fans, reach out. And speaking of Oakland surviving, you know the Angels are in a bad way right now with no Trout or Ohtani. In the West, Houston, they clinch the division. They win a pair of tidy games against the Texas Rangers. Garrett Cole World can't get enough. He gets his 300th strikeout on the year. Pittsburgh has to be saying, where the hell was that guy? That's insane. Congrats to Cole. Congrats to H-Town. And lastly and leastly, the Mariners sweep those aforementioned Pirates. The Mariners sweep the Pirates as their ship completely sinks. Kyle Lewis hit another home run. Marco Gonzalez, Jim, you're going to like his season even more. And oh my God, Pittsburgh, get out of my face. And that is the AL report.
Not bad. And like we said in the AL wildcard, Indians are tied with the Rays now.
So, yeah, we've got the Indians tied with the Rays. Oakland is 2 games up. Maybe we start getting excited for those Vuvuzelas. And then, yeah, Yankees and Houston officially clinched. And Minnesota has all but clinched unless there's an epic collapse coming.
Yo, how about the Mariners sweeping the Pirates? That's some nautical shit.
Dude, Pirates. I've got to get in. You know I love chopping up the stats. I got to get on their record because I did it a few weeks back, and it was like, wow, they were really bad since the All-Star break. They might be doing like semi-historic stuff because it's bottomed out further than I thought.
What about just the fact that the Mariners swept the Pirates?
Exactly. That's I guess when I said bottom up.
You're
Well,
not
I know
getting it.
nautical. Yes.
Yeah.
No, I got the nautical thing. I just said that.
I don't care about the actual result of the game. Two bad teams.
Shed long. Yeah. No. Nautical stuff. Should they play more?
Seems like it. Battle of the Sea, right? Basically, a Mariner is just a pirate with morals. A pirate is a mariner with bad morals.
Yeah, that's if we start mixing up MLB rivalry week, that's a no-brainer.
Yeah. Damn. What's up? What's the Royals deal?
Dude, Jim, you got to check out these box scores because I would love to hear from an Oakland fan. The Royals, dude, they take game one. And if you're Oakland, you've got to be pissed off because the Royals are coming to town, and you're thinking sweep. Jim, Royals win game one 6-5. The Athletics win game two 2-1, and then the A's win the final game 1-0. So we've got 3 one-run games with the Royals taking the first. This was the Athletics came into this thinking like, hey, let's get our sweep and move on, and then you find yourself in a dogfight for all 3 games. Feisty. Yeah.
Well, it's not good that Liam Hendricks blew another game.
Liam, sit on that outside fastball.
Is that 2 in a row now? There had to be one in between, right? His last couple games include 2 blown saves.
Yeah, I mean they won the next 2 games. They won by 1 run, and I saw he got the save in one of them. I'm not sure about the following one. There's.
Oh no! I'm misremembering. I'm misremembering. He didn't blow another one. It was the Yankees, which was a while ago.
Yeah. And I mean they are firmly in bed with Hendricks at this point. There's no coming back. And
he's been amazing.
Yeah.
And then he came back the next day and got big part of their order: Soler, Dozier, Gordon. So good for him. And who did it? It was Matt Olson with the home run in the bottom of the 7th to tie it, and then Kana hit by pitch, Seth Brown double to take the lead. That was game 2. Damn. Brett Anderson with a good start.
Matt Olson, you've seen me falling in love with him. He's going to approach 40 homers this year, and he missed like the first month of the season. He won the Gold Glove last year. Matt Olson is crazy good, and his home runs, I know we always love the clutch factor. A lot of his recent home runs in Houston was to take the lead against Kansas City. Like this guy hits him when the holy crap, Jim.
Yeah.
Matt Olson, 7 homers in his last 12 games. He's got 2 tickets to paradise. No, he doesn't have that. He's got 6 homers in his last 9. Matt Olson's a special player. I love him.
Okay. Good stuff.
Emotional.
Did you see the rubber match? Was the Sunday game? It was 1-0 into extra innings. It was Homer Bailey versus Danny Duffy. Talk about your fucking battle of 2013 pitchers with promise.
Yeah, man. I saw there's a couple guys in the stat books that looked like they dug into something this week, and I like that a lot. But yeah, dude, A's fans must have been freaking scratching themselves all week.
Danny Duffy, 2014, 25 starts, 2.53 ERA. Gee.
Might hear more about him later too, Jim.
Homer Bailey, 2013, 32 starts, 3.49 ERA. Crazy. They're shutting each other out in 2019. And then what was it? Olsen they intentionally walked Olsen in the bottom of the 11th, and then kind of doubled to score them. Well, there was the base was open, so it was like a force situation. Damn. Fucking Royals. Aren't you just roll over and die like the Tigers? Make it easy. Cleveland had it easy.
Ned Yost effect, baby.
All right, so now I got to see who the Royals play. If they're going to be these
Okay,
assholes.
So we've bought into the Royals 1,000% after these 3 games.
Well, okay, they're going to go to Minnesota and get their asses kicked. Okay, then they go to the Braves for 2, and then they play Minnesota for 3. Never mind. Beat Minnesota. This is what we were talking about with the Twins, though. The Twins are in a stretch right now where they're not going to see a competitive game until the postseason. Yeah. So maybe the Royals can give it to them. Otherwise, it's not looking good.
You give it to me. I give it to you.
Yankees news, if anyone is interested. The Yankees have been doing this thing where someone gets hurt, someone leaves, someone comes back from the roster, someone leaves all season. It's kind of a joke at this point, just waiting for like, okay, well, Severino came back, who's leaving? And then it was Betances. He's out for the year. Achilles injury, and he's a free agent, so that's sad. Then Stanton comes back, and it's like, all right, well, who's leaving? And Domingo Germán has been placed on administrative leave for accusations of domestic violence, which we're not going to touch. But
yeah,
bad news. So let's just the Yankees get one back, they lose one.
We recorded a full episode of Talkin Yanks last night. If you're really getting into that, but we don't really dive into the Germán stuff because nobody knows the actual news on it yet. But it was an insane 72 hours as a Yankee fan. Severino making his return. Then it comes out Betances is out for the season. Then Stanton comes back. It was CeCe's last start at the stadium. Then the Germán stuff. Then they clinch. It was insane.
You think the Rays are worried at all that they are now tied with the Indians?
I think, Jim, this is where the one-game playoff comes in. I think all of these teams have been in such a dogfight for so long now. Like, if they get the one-game playoff, they're happy. Just those 3 teams just don't want to be fully excluded at this point.
That's what I'm saying. You think the Rays fans? I think they were cocky 2 weeks ago. They were like up 3 in the wild card race, or up 2.5 or something like that. Now they're tied for the 2nd. And I think they have the hardest schedule of the 3.
It looks like they're playing Boston coming up. And that gets tricky too, Jim, because they've got a 2-gamer against the Yanks, but the Yanks are in full cruise control. So I mean, who knows what they're even going to see from the Yankees that series? Yeah, I mean, if you're any of these 3 teams, you're concerned.
Yeah. What about how did Blake Snell do?
But yeah, Snell did good. I think he was 2 innings, no hits, 4K, something like that.
Real baby step for him, huh?
Yeah. Well, Jim, I think it's weapon mode, man. I think they want Snell being able to pitch 3 to 4 innings. They know they're not going to build him up. They want Glasnow to do the same thing. I think they are just it's Charlie Morton and then everyone else be a weapon.
Yeah, I wonder that's so interesting how it's going to happen. Man, I'm excited for the Indians Rays Oakland finish. Let's play a game, Jake.
Okay. Love games.
This is probably too much of an endeavor, but I'm going to do it, and then we're going to get out of here quickly.
Okay.
You're going to simulate the rest of the season.
Ooh.
You have 2 seconds. Okay, ready? Oakland versus Texas. How many do they win? 3 game set at Oakland.
3.
They sweep them?
Yeah.
All right,
Texas has nothing.
Then they go to LA and they play in Anaheim for 2.
Split.
Okay, so you got them. And then Seattle at Seattle for 4. Seattle just swept the Pirates.
I'm going to go split because I'm going to say, like, the last game doesn't matter.
Okay, you have them winning 5 more games, which would put them at, I don't know. That would put them as the winner, basically. It has to. So Tampa. They have 3 games at Boston. Or 3 games versus 4 games versus Boston at home. 3
at home. They win 3, yeah.
3, that's what I would have it. Then 2 versus the Yankees. Split. That's what I have as well. And then 3 at Toronto.
Ooh. 2 out of 3.
So you got them winning everything. So you have them winning 6. You have them winning 6 games, and you had Oakland winning 5. So actually, you might have them tied or something now.
No, I think that would still have Oakland up because they've got a 2-game lead. I think I had them winning 6 too. I know this gets scary because we're not a math podcast.
Oh, you did have them winning 6. You had them both winning 6. You had them both winning 6. So that leaves the A's as the winner. Okay, Jake, let's simulate Cleveland now.
Cleveland.
I think we were too nice to both teams. I think Tampa might split with the Red Sox. But the Red Sox they're down in the dumps. Okay, Cleveland's fun. They have 3 Phillies coming to Cleveland for 3.
Oh, damn. You go 2 out of 3. I mean, Cleveland's a better team and they're at home.
All right, then they go to Chicago for 3. I got them sweeping. They just swept the Tigers. I got them sweeping Chicago.
The White Sox. Okay. All right. Yeah, we can pencil that in. White Sox are pesky.
Then they host the National, or they go to the Nationals for 3. Nationals are going to be in full get ready for wild card mode. Like, remember the Yankees did this last year? They did like half games, half starts.
Jim, they were. They have a 1-game lead in the wild card right now. The Nationals have to keep pushing.
So how do you have Cleveland and the Nationals in that last series?
It's gonna depend really, because I mean the Nationals lining up their guys. We did this before. Is still gonna be some good guys too, and even like Anibal Sanchez. So I don't know. I mean,
you got Cleveland winning 1.
I'll mark them down for 2, just assuming that last game means nothing for the Nats. But I don't know. They could very easily not.
Oh, wow. You know what? Then you gave Cleveland 7 wins. So you have Cleveland as the second wild card and the Athletics as the first wild card.
The numbers, I don't know. The numbers don't seem to add up over here at all.
You had Cleveland winning 2 against Philly.
Right.
Sweeping the White Sox.
Yeah.
And winning 2. You penciled them in for 2. That's 7. 2
But the sweep against the White Sox, that was you. I like the pesky White Sox. I think that's a 2 out of 3.
Okay, so classic Jake has every team doing the same thing.
What do you have, kid? We're listening. You got a mic?
I have the Rays. I have the Rays winning 5, and the Indians winning 6. I have the Indians beating the Rays for that second wild card.
Nice.
I think Washington's gonna have that locked up by the time they get to that last series, just like the Yankees did last year.
They can't. 1-game lead right now for Washington.
Cleveland versus.
Think about how negatively we talked about the Cubbies and like a Washington loss and a Cubbies win, and they'd almost be on even ground.
It's crazy. Crazy. All right, well, let's move on. We're deep into that.
Deep.
What do we do here? Standout performances.
Standout performance.
I get to go first.
Your guy, Jim.
This is a fun one. Do you know who this is? Dinelson Lamet from the San Diego Padres. Dinelson Lamet. Not ashamed to admit I didn't know this guy, didn't know his name. In 2017, he made it to the bigs. He got signed by the Rays or someone in the AL, I believe, but his papers didn't work out. So then he got signed by the Padres for like $100K. And he makes it to the bigs in 2017, got nasty stuff, starts 21 games for the Padres, but he had to get Tommy John, so he missed all of 2018. So he's been recovering, battling back. He just threw 6 innings against the Brewers, who are all hands on deck, who are 12-2 in their last 14 games, and he allowed 1 earned run while striking out 14 batters. Earlier this month, he took a no-hitter into the 7th against the Mariners. So, crazy performance against a team that's doing everything they can to win, striking out 14, allowing 1 earned run. His season, Jake, thus far, he hasn't like dug a giant hole for the Padres, but he doesn't get enough innings because he walks too many batters. So his ERA isn't looking that good because he can't get himself through like 5-6 innings every time. So he's got to cut down on the walks. His stuff is nasty. 97-mile-per-hour fastball. The slider is kind of like Severino's slider, like a really like sharp darting slider.
Tight.
So, yeah. So D. Nelson Lamet is my standout performance for the 14K. 1 run is more impressive against the Brewers, who are scrapping and clawing.
Yeah, and Lamet, he is a big strikeout guy. And Jim, you mentioned the innings thing with the walks a little bit. He also, I think coming off of that surgery with the Padres season being the Padres season and NL baseball, he's only thrown 100 pitches once. More than half of his starts have been in the 80s or less. So I think he has potential for more. They're also probably not pushing it too hard. But yeah, he's a guy that he's got all the talent in the world. He's why people get excited about the Padres' future. Guys like him, Lucchesi, they just came out with the top prospect list last week, and I think the Padres have another starting pitcher who's like the number 3 prospect. The Padres are. They kind of followed the Houston formula a little bit when Houston bottomed out and got terrible. And everyone knows what Houston's doing now, so it'll be interesting to see if San Diego hits on enough of these guys to be a threat next year. I know that's what they want to be.
Be a threat next year. Maybe they won't be so angry then.
They need the Dodgers to have a crippling playoff loss so that the Dodgers can kind of have the wheels start coming off.
If the Dodgers lose.
Yeah?
Yeah, that'd be funny. It'd be terrible for Dodgers fans, but it'd be
right.
Mayhem. Be mayhem. Who's your standout performance?
Jim, my standout performance, you heard my voice just lose excitement a little bit because he's a guy that pretty much could get everything really special, so it gets him on there. Garrett Cole, Jimmy, he's a starting pitcher for the Houston Astros. He's crazy good. He had a casual 8-inning pitch, 2 earned run, 10K start. That's fine. That's not even a great start for him at this point. That's silly. Jimmy, a couple numbers since June. 19 games started, 128.2 innings pitched, 190 Ks in those innings with a 1.82 ERA. What he's doing is crazy. It's tied for the 4th longest streak in MLB history with double-digit strikeouts in a start. Only guys ahead of him are Chris Sale and Pedro. A couple socks. How about that? And Jimmy, I mentioned it casually when we were going through 300 strikeouts this season. He's the 18th pitcher ever in the history of this game to do that. 18th pitcher ever to have 300 strikeouts in an inning. The combination of his arm talent, the Houston lab, a little pine tar, and this new age of strikeouts, nobody cares, helps him out a little bit. But it's one of the more impressive feats you'll hear about in baseball. And Jim, what gets me really excited about this, well, is not seeing him in the postseason, but this dude is going to be the story of the offseason. Wherever this guy signs in free agency, we've got some some fake little birdies in our ear. He's a California guy, that there's some California rumors. Be cool to hear all the Trout, Ohtani, Garrett Cole stuff. Or do they not have money because they still have to pay Albert a lot of coin? But Garrett Cole's the story of this offseason because, Jim, you already know it. I mean, the Yankees fan base are going to be saying, "Oh, we got to sign Garrett Cole."
It's not even. As a Yankees fan, I have it at 0.1%.
Right. But if any of the MLB teams with money, whether it's Cubs, Dodgers, Houston, Yankees, I mean, right now, their whole offseason plan right now amongst fans is, dude, we're going to sign Garrett Cole.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it's going to be very interesting to see if he can kind of add to the lore of his season with his postseason efforts. It's him and Verlander for the Cy Young. Garrett Cole, 18th guy ever to do it, Jim.
Ever.
I
know we stay on the series that happened from the week, but Jack Flaherty yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It might be dated for Monday's show, but Jack Flaherty's insane right now.
Yeah, I had a
Cardinals pitchers went off again.
I had a buddy who another Jimmy Widman. Didn't think he'd be getting a shout out. We talk like quarterly. Hey, how are you? What's going on? And he goes, "Hey man, first baseball game I'm watching this year. Jack Flaherty guy looks incredible." And I sent him a couple stats, and he goes, "Holy shit, that's exactly what he looks like right now." So yeah, we're Jack Flaherty pod.
He's good.
Good.
Speaking of not good,
Slump watch.
All right, we got to update Slump Watch. Last week we had Aristides Aquino. He's actually just kind of been on Slump Watch. Well, because he hasn't worked his way off officially, but we also just want to keep up with Aristides. So Jake, he went 2 for 14 with a home run and 7 Ks. Like I said at the top of the show, it's his 19th home run in 47 games or something like that. 16th. But, I mean, his numbers aren't good. He just had 2 hits. One was a home run. So I'm keeping him on just because I still want to I want to ride out his season.
Yeah, I mean, it's still just a Keno watch, basically, at this point. He's technically on pace for like a 54 home run season if he had played a full season. Jim, I got to say I'm rooting for him to have one more hot week because otherwise the peripheral numbers are dropping pretty quickly.
That's right. Yeah, they are. Like the home run total is impressive, but all the other stuff is kind of fading. They're like plummeting, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean the last basically 2 weeks he's hitting $140. So come on, Aristides, line it up.
Dansby Swanson has been on Slump Watch for a while. He plays 2 games of the 3. He went 1 for 7 with the walk. He is now slashing 156 batting average, 299 on base percentage, 203 slugging, and a 502 OPS in his 19 games since returning from injury. It's a little bit of a injury return watch, but he's been nothing.
This has been brutal. He was thrown on there due to injury. Get off my Braves. Get off my Vandy guy with Dansby Swanson. And then we had Walkgate last week with him. This is a travesty.
Well, he's not performing well with the bat.
He's don't make me get weird with the numbers.
You can't. He's got bad numbers.
Past 5 games, he's got a 400 on base percentage. What more do you want from this kid?
Some hits.
Okay, well, he's getting on base.
That's step 1.
Love you, Dansby.
Pete Alonso's been on Slump Watch, and he basically goes shame to flame. He went 6 for 11 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs. So 8 runs was his doing. 2 home runs, 615 on base percentage in the series. I mean, that's as off gets. Good for Pete Alonso.
I haven't given claps in a while. Pistol Pete deserves it.
And he should be getting 50 in the season, which is awesome.
It's insane. That's insane.
Yadier Molina was on Slump Watch. He goes 3 for 11 with a double, .275 batting average. Yachty can come off. He's old.
See, this is where I disagree with you. You have a low bar for Yachty. He's a big part of their team. I'm keeping him. If you're keeping Dansby on there, I'm keeping Yachty.
But like Yachty, am I wrong? Is Yachty and Merlin a good hitter?
Yachty?
Like anymore? Like has he? Like isn't 275 with a 275 on base percentage like right around who he is these days?
I mean, he's hitting 264 this year. I mean, Dansby Swanson doesn't get on base at a 400 clip, but you hate him because he's beautiful. So I don't know.
Is your 4-day sample?
Oh, bigger than Yachty's.
Jakey's butter knife stats are getting crazy.
Bigger than Yachty's. Hey.
What do you mean bigger than Yachty's?
If his 5-game sample is bigger than Yachty's, yeah.
What?
You're talking about the sample size, babe.
Yeah, but Yachty, I mean, he was on Slump Watch last week, so you got to double it up.
Take him off. You just have a low bar for Yachty.
I do. I see him as a leader and a catcher.
Yeah.
We can leave him on. I mean, in his last 10 games, Yachty's numbers are atrocious. We'll leave him on.
Leave him.
I think he's going to get off because of we're sick of talking about it. Max Muncy, 2 games versus Tampa Bay. He went 1 for 8. In the last game, the one hit was a 2 RBI double. Only a 2-game series, and 1 for 8's not good. Half don't care about this one, so whatever you want to do.
Yeah, this gets tricky because no, this shouldn't get him off Slump Watch. But I mean, do the Dodgers care?
No.
No.
All right, cool. Vladdy Jr., I mean, I almost want to just completely save this for the next segment or whatever that segment is down the line, but Vladdy Jr. also kind of went shame to flame on us. And he was playing against the Orioles, so he'll dip into that bucket later. But he had 2 hits in each game, went 6 for 14 with a double and a walk. End your season strong, Vladdy. I know Jake was saying his numbers were on that ridge where, you know, he's on the fence post and he can fall one way or the other. So fucking suck for the next 3 games versus the Yankees, then go on a tear versus the Tampa again or whoever you're playing. That's what I'd like.
Fair.
But he is definitely off Slump Watch for now. Hopefully the Yankees can put him right back on. That'd be cool. Kevin Kiermaier, I added, Jake, and I kind of have a question mark here. Is he just bad? So up until the All-Star break, he was having a pretty decent season for Kiermaier, who's a defensive center fielder. But he had like a 7-something OPS for the whole first half of the season. He's currently working on an 0 for 16 streak, which is why he's on Slump Watch. And then I was looking, and I was like, since the All-Star break, Kevin Kiermaier, he plays every day. He has a 189 batting average, a 237 on base percentage, and a 566 OPS. That's bad. Like that's a lot of time for a lot of bad. I know he's a defensive guy.
I think he stays. Yeah, I mean he's one of my favorite defensive players in the league. He's won the Platinum Glove before. But Jim, I think he stays because obviously he's not.
Well, he's stay. I'm adding him.
Yeah, well, what you mentioned, Bad Watch, which is another world.
Oh, okay.
But Jim, I think more importantly is the fact that, I mean, the Rays use him in their lineup. He usually bats like 6th or 7th, but we've seen games this year where he's batted 3rd for them. I think he was in a hot streak when they did that, but I mean, they use Kiermaier as a cog in that lineup. It's not like they just bat him last like Jackie Bradley Jr. or something like that. So I think for that reason, he stays.
It's bad. Those numbers are really bad since the All-Star break.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Rookie Will Smith for the Dodgers, Jake. After his first 25 games in the league, he had a 329 batting average and a 404 on base percentage. So we're talking about small sample sizes, and we're talking about first time through the league, which, you know, this kind of adds up to the cliche. But in his next 23 games, he has a 147 batting average and a 207 on base percentage. So cut his numbers in half. The first 25, cut him in half for the next 25, and he's currently 1 for his last 23. And I think they're trying to get him out of this because they started him like the last 5 games. He started and played the entire game.
Yeah, I mean he became kind of he became a part of this team. So it's definitely interesting to see how he winds down, because he could change his playoff time.
And then my last one is Manny Machado, who's 2 for his last 28 and having just an awful September. 563 OPS, 263 slugging in September for Manny. His season's going to be one of his worst offensive seasons in a while, I believe. Like, I think he only has a 700 OPS, which is pedestrian, and Manny Machado is supposed to be one of the best players in the sport. So, new league, new faces, new routine, new pitchers, new everything. So I kind of give him a little bit of a slide, but that blows.
Yeah, and he I think this Padres season fell apart really quick. And we've had Machado on Slump Watch. He was having much more of a Machado year kind of through the trade deadline. And then the wheels have fallen apart these last couple months. Because I don't want to talk asinine about it, because Machado slander can go downhill really easily. I'd love to hear from a Padres fan. Like, does it look like he's kind of given up, or is he just struggling? Because, Jim, August 1st to now, so the past more than month and a half, he's hitting 193. That's 44 games played. So I'd love to hear, because obviously can't watch all the games, especially sliding Padre games.
It's not like Manny's not used to losing seasons.
Jim, those Orioles teams were actually pretty good for a while. I mean,
yeah, but last year,
I know it's easy to shrug at, but he ended up on the Dodgers.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dude, the Orioles are so bad. 47 wins in 2018, 49 wins in 2019.
Moving on up.
Holy shit.
The Orioles are going to see as many wins in the past 2 years as the Yankees, Houston have seen this year. Dodgers.
Oh my God. That is terrible. Whew. Bad. All right. Oh.
Nasty's on fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Jake, who you got? Who's on fire, huh? Huh, kid? Who's got the stick going? Who's got the balls groping?
Who's swinging it, kid? Jim, I'm gonna start off East Coast bias, because that's basically what this whole show is.
I don't think anyone says that about us.
No, it's just I like mocking them. Jim, AL East outfielders, a couple of dudes you're very familiar with. Jim, start off with Trey Mancini for those Orioles. He's still fighting the good fight. They were up in Toronto. Trey Mancini, he's 15 for his last 32, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. I think it's in like his past 6 games. 16 RBIs. That's a batting average of 1.441 OPS for Trey. Stay strong, Trey Mancini.
Dude, want to know something about Trey Mancini?
Yes.
This is his 3rd season in the MLB, and he's only 27 years old, but because he's been on 2 40-win teams, he feels like the weathered, grizzly veteran of the Orioles, the only true pro. He's in his 3rd season. He's young. like you would think he was like fucking 33 and doing it like, the mainstay.
It's man, it's one of the more bizarre things. It actually puts my brain in a pretzel, because you're right. I mean, if Trey Mancini was on the Dodgers, he'd be like a platoon player and a guy you'd be like, yeah, he's pretty solid. I've seen him play, but he's like the face of the O's.
Young kid still getting his reps in. Like, no, his 3rd year is the biggest mainstay on the Orioles.
Yeah, Mancini might be able to become something. Yeah, that's Trey. You are our fearless leader for Baltimore. Jim, I mentioned being the strength of that Orioles team. Speaking of strength, how about Yankees legend, Brett Gardner. Jim, he's a guy that you and I obviously swoon over. If you've watched him on a day-to-day basis, he is a joy. He's 10 for his last 23, 3 homers, 8 RBIs. That's a 435 batting average, a 500 on base, 1.457. 36 years old, Jim, playing center field.
He's what Trey Mancini feels like to the Orioles.
Yeah, a little different. It's a yes and no.
The mainstay, the old man, the leader of the young kids. That's how Trey Mancini is described for the Orioles. He's played 2 full seasons in his life.
Yeah, Brett has a full decade on him. But yeah, old man Gardy is putting up a pretty incredible season. I was doing some of my choppy stats last night. You can make an argument he's been like the 3rd best center fielder in the AL this year. Trout and Springer, those guys are pretty good. But more importantly, for a guy that was going to be asked to be the 4th or 5th outfielder on this Yankee team, Gardy has put a huge year together. And Jim, speaking of huge years, a guy that's been a thorn in our side, Randall Grichuk. All our Cardinal listeners are glad to get an update on their old friend. He's been a Yankee killer. His stats are pretty wild. He just got his 30th homer, but Jimmy's got 5 homers in his last 6 games. My God. I don't know if you want to say anything about it. It's insane watching him again. And Jim,
really bad. Fuck yeah, I'm good. Around and he just kind of
matter all.
We're not Samson, Dickren,
6.5 run of
an award.
And over.
Is the Titans out there?
This is 18.
It get no looks.
Man over beast. Nice award, Jim.
Thanks.
18-1. That is just silly.
Well, let's find the one game and who the hero was. Give me your award.
Ooh, I love that. Yeah, you dig that up. I'll go here because that's who should have gotten the award. Whichever Tiger claimed it. Jim, my award, and I think this is my favorite award so far. I'm giving out the Liquid Courage Award. And Jim, it's someone on the Beer Makers. I've referenced him a few times. Jordan Lyles. Jim, Jordan Horton Lyles. Love that. Former first-round pick of Houston. He comes up in the major leagues at 20 years old during some of the Houston bad times, basically. He's got an ERA in the 5s. He goes over to the Colorado Rockies. He struggles there, but so do a lot of pitchers. And he's kind of bounced around between Colorado, San Diego, Milwaukee, and he started the year on Pittsburgh. Jim, they traded for him at the trade deadline, and he has been so good for them. He's 6-1, a 2.35 ERA, 10 games started. Again, they don't ask a lot for him because it's that Brewers mindset of take us as far as you can, babe. And Jim, I think the best part about this is, so he was having a bad year. His ERA is 5.11 lifetime. Jimmy, he's played on 5 major league teams. Colorado Rockies, the team he's played the most with, 105 games. He's got a 5.22 ERA. Houston, 3 years, 72 games, a 5.35 ERA. The Padres, he played 29 games, a 5.53 ERA. Pittsburgh, he started the year with them, 17 games, a 5.36 ERA. So for these 4 major league teams, his ERA is 5+, except his 2 years with Milwaukee, 21 games, he has a 2.57 ERA. He just needs that Brew Crew love, man. So shout out to Jordan Lyles and whatever the Brewers are doing with him.
Whatever they're doing with him is working.
It's working. Beer sandwich before the game.
Ooh. So the one win that the Tigers had over the Indians this season was on April 10th, the second game the two played against each other this season. Trevor Bauer versus Matthew Boyd.
Nice.
Bauer gave up 10 hits, 4 earned runs. The big blow was a home run by John Hicks to go from 2-1 to go from 2-1 to 3-1, and then Josh Harrison singled in Gordon Beckham to make it 4-1.
That's why they got rid of Bauer.
Yeah. Boyd when he was good.
Boyd. Yeah, boy.
Yeah, Boyd. So good job, the Tigers, for winning that one game
Congrats.
and losing the rest. How many times do you think they got shut out of those 18 games? Tigers lost 18 games to the Indians. How many of those 18 do you think they got shut out? Shutouts are hard to do.
Shutouts are hard to do. Cleveland does have really good pitching. I'm going 4.
I'm going to count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Whew.
And then there's 2 games with only 1 run. Damn.
Not good.
Damn.
Get that elevator going.
Yeah. Elevator time. If you're stuck in an elevator with a fan of this team, here's some things you can say to his face.
Or hers.
Padres?
I do some Padres.
Okay.
That's what Elevator Talk's here for.
Okay. San Diego Padres, the first thing I want to find out is can they ruin anyone's season?
Okay, you go schedule on them. And you already did your Denilson Lamet thing, so you guys are already friends.
Denilson Lamet, you know about him. He just had a really good outing. They cannot. They have They have 6 games left against the Diamondbacks and 3 against the Dodgers. So they're have no motivation to play at all.
Yeah, pretty brutal for them once Tatis Jr. went down. Man, on the offensive end, this is tough. They got rid of Franmil. Know what it is, Jim? One of the prospects they traded for, they got Taylor Trammell in that trade, right? He, I think he hit a homer to win like the AAA playoff series. So that's deep tracks Padres.
Whoa.
Yeah,
okay.
That's deep track.
Do they like Andy Green? I guess this is like a question for Padres fans more than anything else. I know nothing about him. He got extended through 2021, so he's got 2 more years. But yeah, I know nothing about if people like Andy Green or not.
Yeah, let us know. Man, so many young guys on this roster that aren't doing awful, but not doing good. Man, I don't know. And that Hosmer contract, they need hitting at this point. I mean, Paddock has put together a pretty good rookie season. Your guy, Jim, 140 innings pitched, 3.3 ERA. We've done Denilson Lamet. We've talked about how far Kyle Quantrill's rookie year fell off. So many young arms. Lucchesi has just been solid. I stumbled into the Joey Lucchesi as their Dallas Keuchel comparison a couple weeks ago. I really like that. Otherwise, I don't know. Get some bats in town.
You think they're good on arms? With who they got? They got Paddock, Richards, Lamet, Lucchesi. I don't know. You think that's all?
I mean, Lauer is just having a meh kind of. I think this is his second year. Quantrill, we talked about how the wheels fell off, but I mean, he's still a young arm. Kirby Yates is pretty impressive. They got to flip him at some point, right? And kind of assemble their own bullpen. For me, I mean, it seems like they have pitchers that can give you an outing on a given day. Again, that top prospect list that just came out, they've got more help on the way with him and more at home.
Mackenzie Gore, first round pick.
Mackenzie Gore. Yeah.
First round pick. It looks like he might be parts of the plans for next year. That'd be cool. But I mean, yeah, man, they need Tatis to be healthy. Are they gonna go be spenders at all this offseason?
I'd like to see them, and wow, Padres offseason talk. This is what I'm here for, babe.
Are
Jim,
they thinking, let's go get Garrett Cole?
I mean, it would be wild if they are. I think their name is out there, so I do think they do have some money to spend. That'd be really weird, but I guess then you could flip one of your young pitchers for hitting. Because remember, they were kind of in the running for Syndergaard, or at least those rumor mills. It'd be interesting. I'd be interested to see what they hear. I'd like to see them do kind of the Minnesota Twins route, like bring in a couple of these veteran hitters that aren't getting big free agent money anymore, and like fill some holes in your lineup to make your team competitive, or go out, get Garrett Cole, and then trade, one of your young pitchers for a couple field players and roll the damn ball out there.
Ooh. You doing dips?
I did 2, and they weren't. They were nothing, technically.
They got to get rid of Hunter Renfroe.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would love Padres fans reach out and tell me what the deal with Hunter Renfroe is.
I think he's bad and not good.
Like does he – but is it like – does he need to get out of San Diego? Like I feel like if Hunter Renfroe ended up on Texas next year, he'd like hit 35 homers, a 250 batting average. You know what I'm saying?
In his last 60 plate appearances, how many hits do you think he has?
7.
5.
Okay, not great.
Damn.
The Padres gave up. In
his last 78 plate appearances, he has 7 hits. Man, Hunter Renfroe's on slump watch, but it might just be bad watch. I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah, I need more of a scouting report on Hunter Renfroe, because there are some good numbers tied to him.
All right. Well, that ends this episode of Talkin' Baseball. We thank you guys very much for tuning in, hanging out with us. Have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the wild card races. If your team's involved, I feel bad for you. All right. Thanks to everyone who was watching live. We appreciate it. We will be back later. If there was difficulties during it, I apologize. Trying to figure some stuff out and all that. But I think it was decent for majority of it.